Everyone, welcome back to Ohio State football. Scarlet and Great, Johnny and Corey, dynamic duo. We are here back together. It's been a while. We're going to hurt some feelings today. We have some hard evidence that the Michigan football cheating program is in fact cheating. At this point, I don't even want to say Michigan did cheating. I just want to say they are cheaters. Because it's so prevalent in what we got here, guys. And some of you have already seen it. Because of a mishap. I'll take responsibility to why this thing has already gotten out, but I was supposed to be one of the originators of it. And that's a different story. We'll talk about that a little bit. But anyways, Florida, Corey, you doing good? You ready to get into this?
Let's go. I'm ready to go. I was yelling at my friend on the phone last night thinking I need to make a podcast about this.
Yeah, and that was before you saw I interrupted everyone's day at work, you, me, and
that's true.
Shane
I just went to
Larson.
my van and I guess I'm taking a break. Let's
Yeah, like, emergency, guys, I have an emergency. So Corey can attest that I've had this since the morning hours. If you look at my tweet, I know spoiler, Menace to Sports do a great job, and they did release this earlier. Good on them. Like, fell into, like, that's fine. It's kind of my fault, but it fell into their lap, and they did the right thing. No, like, they're great. No problem. And they can break this stuff down.
I do have a problem with Zach Smith. He claimed the Bengals lost because I was a racist. That's
yeah, he did. Well, I like him even more. So we've had this, and I tweeted in the morning, hey, I got some hard evidence, and
you and Shane
Zach
got on
even
the call,
yeah, and you too, and Zach even shouted me out, so cool. Like, anyways, we got some evidence. We have
still not
some
giving
evidence.
it to Johnny.
All right, we have some evidence that shows that University of Michigan has the sign stealing, not just like peeking across sidelines, stealing a sign. We get that. It's not illegal. That's not what they're on trial for.
Can we get into that just real quick, Johnny, before you share this?
Yes, but first everybody's got to smash the like and subscribe button.
That's true.
Not just press it, smash it.
Break your
People already say
computer
that.
or your phone if you have to. It's worth it. Look, we are worth a new iPhone. But anyway, that being said, anybody who's out there, Jeff Saturday, Deion Sanders, whomever, these goofballs are. I mean, CTE is real, folks. It is real.
What do you think of Jeff Saturday's makeup, by the way? Isn't it pretty?
I think he's he must be a Trump supporter the way he looks.
Guy looked like Pirates of the Caribbean out there.
It was bad. It was pretty bad. Anyway, he just sat underneath the sun for 3 days straight. But that being said, these guys are. What's wrong with sign stealing? Everybody does it. It's like you NFL guys obviously don't know the college game does not have the helmet technology, the headset and helmet. It's not the sign stealing that's the problem. We don't care about that. If you figure it out in game, even if you somehow figure it out through tape the other school has given you or whatever scouting you've done, fine. It's the method in which it was procured is the problem. For the love of the Almighty, I can't shout that loud enough to people who can't get that. It's amazing. Yeah.
No one cares if you look in basketball. If you hear someone call a play and you saw and you defended it a certain way, okay, I know this back pick's coming. I'm not going to get caught by it. Same thing. You steal a sign. You see somebody call or signal something, and it ended up being this formation. You remember that? Call it out. That's fine. That's
if you're making notes on the sideline, I don't care.
Gamesmanship. It's not against the rules. What is against the rules is traveling to another team's games and in-person scouting them, and it is certainly against the rules to record that. And again, look, people are going to say the Washington Post, blah, blah, they did this and that story. I'm not saying they're perfect, but that's something presented to them. Pretty solid, right, to say this is apolitical, right? This is not like they just got some information against a political party they don't like. This is apolitical. And don't give me like, oh, they do it because Harbaugh's a conservative, they don't like him. The University of Michigan is wildly liberal. Their coach is conservative. So you can't go there, all right?
And they stand behind their coach. That liberal university stands behind their conservative coach. Right. It's not a political thing.
It's not a political thing. So the Washington Post, really damning article. If you guys want a better breakdown, watch Michigan Football Report with James Yoder, where he's very honest about it. He's like, look, I'm beating the Michigan drum here, but gosh, this is pretty bad.
And you should follow him on Twitter. It's been amazing, to be honest.
It's been great. And it's been bad. Look, Michigan has now gotten, you see the evidence has been presented that several people went to these games, that money was spent on these games, they took videos, and that all those videos got compiled on a University of Michigan computer. All right? It's pretty bad, guys. What I'm about to show you kind of shows that has probably been going on for a while in some form or fashion. Now, this goes back. Connor Stalions, I think, was officially hired in 21 or 20. He's been around since like 15. They saw somebody show the Jim Harbaugh Venmo in like 2015 and be an intern before. And what I'm about to show you is from 2018, okay? 2018. And Corey, let's just pull it up, all right? Let's just pull this up. Hopefully I don't mess this up trying to like do a producer thing, doing more than one thing at once. I probably will. But let's see. Let's see. Roll the footage. Is it up, Corey? Can you see it?
Up. It is up.
Here you have it. And this is photo. It was given to me again. My fault that it got out earlier than it should have. Look, all I can tell you this from the source. I got it from the person who picked it up. This was picked up from Michigan's bench sideline after the 2018 game. Okay? Now, you have Keenan Bailey. We all know who that is. Ohio State tight ends coach. At that time, he was, I think, assistant receivers coach, maybe even a lower position. He is, they're literally, look what they have. They had, hey, there will be other guys that look like him, but he's the taller one. There's shirt colors that are distracting. He wears this color this many times. Like, guys, you may say, hey, we got this from earlier year, like early, because again, you don't get this, you don't come into the game with this. Stealing sign is an in-game thing. They obviously came into the game with this. They're not making this at halftime.
No, they had it made up between quarters at Kinko's.
Yeah, would that happen to have a breakdown how many times he wore what color shirt in the quarter?
I mean,
you see,
that's extensive. I'm not even going to.
Right? Like, this is exactly what we thought, though. Like, fist out is going this way. This is going this way. The same thing that sign stealing, but got more elaborate. If those of you who say that's of no advantage, you know what's coming, you still got to stop it, then why do it? Johnny,
don't open that can of worms. I'm not going to.
I'm not yet. No, yeah, please. I'm not. Hey, just tell the other team what your play is if you believe it. Anyways, so you see this, guys. You see what's on the screen. This is really damning evidence. They had this. They had to come into the game with this. You don't build this stuff off previous season's knowledge. You don't, and you don't, because that wouldn't explain the
signals every season,
like, every single year. Yeah, the coach isn't going to be the same every single year, and he's not. You're not going to have use the breakdown the type of clothing he wears in previous seasons. I get it. If this alone is what sent somebody to a trial, 12 of your peers, just this, I know you couldn't do much with it. But it does, I think, prove a few things, and I'm going to go ahead and pull it down, Corey. I think it proves a few things. One, they came into the game with previously brought up evidence, right? Mm-hmm. They came into the game with that. I'm going to go back full screen for you guys. Sorry about that. They came into the game with previous evidence, and they compiled it. They were very organized with this network, right? By previous evidence, I mean previous knowledge that they had built this. Mm-hmm. Now, you have the Washington Post saying, hey, we saw this happen. They were filming other teams' games. Hey, Connor Stalions had tickets to the Ohio State State game this weekend.
On both sides.
Yeah, on both benches. Hey, We have this evidence that people were getting paid to do this. Hey, we see the open Venmos. Hey, Connor Stalions has been suspended. Hey, Michigan is posting second half numbers, the likes of which Prime Alabama never saw. Hey, Michigan against the spread since Connor Stalions has been officially a staff member, wildly changed. Like, they were terrible against the spread, and now they're beating it all the time. Mm-hmm. Oh, also, you don't know who your bowl game opponents are, and you're doing garbage against them, even TCU, who you're favored against. And now I have a sheet showing that you did take data from the sideline you're not supposed to have in the year that you played a team, and you made a sophisticated system with it. Corey, if you're on a jury, even if this was 12 of your peers, and all that was brought to you, how you voting?
I need to know this evidence was illegally obtained because Ryan Day hired the FBI to...
That's what matters. That's what matters. Was Ryan Day behind it? That's how I'm going to vote guilty or not guilty based off of who launched the initial investigation. Like, why does it matter if Santa Claus launched it? Corey, how are you voting if you're giving
Well,
this?
Ryan Day is rosy-cheeked like Santa Claus. The connection
Answer the question, Corey.
Look.
How are you voting if this is all presented to you?
It's 100% accurate. They cheated. I don't. You're not going to convince me otherwise at this point. And I'm not saying, well, ever since Ohio State lost, I got no. It's like you were a solid program. Jim, I'm not saying Michigan was terrible because they weren't. 2018, they were like a top 5 team. But all of a sudden, you went to just you can't be beaten at all. It ain't like you're recruiting in the top 5 every year. You know, it's like
you're tied with Ohio State at halftime. You win by 28-3 in the second half.
And again, even people who aren't Ohio State fans are commenting. I listen. I mean, you could say, "Oh, it's Valenti." I was listening to Valenti and Rico saying, "Yeah, during that game, I was shocked at how they had the perfect play call for every time Ohio State tried to counter." It's just like, and he even thought, was Ryan Day dumb? Is he just a bad coach? Ryan Day is one of the better coaches for adjustments in the game today. He's not perfect. I'm not claiming that he's
a second half guy. He's a second half guy.
And couldn't move the ball at all. And again, and then you see the video of the sideline on the first drive where Connor is literally looking at the sideline as CJ looks back to get the play in. And he's just looking. Then he starts pointing up, and everybody around him is pointing up. Everybody around him knows it. It's like he's just watching for the sign, and there it is. Okay, good. Well, they scored on that. Okay, just because you know the play isn't a guarantee you're going to stop it, but it gives you a high advantage you're going to stop it. And by the way, again, after that first series, it seemed to be a struggle from then on out to get anything going. Look, this is what's, and I'm going to go back to that real quick about, I don't know if Johnny, you've had this planned for later in the show or not, but Dion and other people saying, well, it doesn't matter. You can give them whatever you want. They got to execute. It's the most ridiculous argument I've ever heard.
Tell them what play's coming then, Dion. Call your play out at the line of scrimmage.
It's like, does the quarterback look back to Dion and say, oh, we got to check out of this. They got the perfect – no, you just run it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that they saw our alignment and came out in the perfect defense. Well, why are defensive coordinators calling timeouts, head coaches, on crucial fourth downs? Because they want to see what play they're going to run.
It's
offense is going to line up.
Argument I've ever seen. It's ridiculous. It's like, why do you have play action? Why do you have audibles?
It's even dumber than did Ryan Day trigger the investigation. Okay, I get why you would care. I get why you would care about that, but to know, like, what advantage is it? You know, if it's no advantage, why are you doing it?
Yeah, I mean, why do you pay people to do it if it's no advantage? Do you think this guy who's making $55,000 a year is paying for all these tickets?
Yeah, he's using his tire check for the. Listen, what Dion said was dumb. What Jeff Saturday said was dumb. It is an advantage. Look, reasonable people, and even Michigan fans that aren't in their feelings. Oh, look, this has turned a lot of people in their feelings. You had the one lady
As you
who's
can evidence by me yelling in the microphone.
yeah. Yeah, the one lady on Twitter who blocked me, who's always flaunting her God-given features. And she blocked me for saying, hey, don't go anywhere. Just stick around. You got something wrong. Life goes on. She was all, this is not. Steve Deese was all. Steve Deese looked like a psychopath, and he's a generally smart guy. He looked like the ramblings of an incoherent madman. Mm-hmm. He looked awful. Absolutely awful and in denial. James Yoder. But he's actually starting to come around. He's been honest about Michigan for
Yoder,
years.
though. I mean, you can interpret. I love James Yoder. First of all, James Yoder is a great guy. We actually do like him a lot. But it's just funny because it's like you could interpret his tweets as waving the white flag long ago because he was just making things up. Obviously.
He's like, maybe we did it and we're dumb. Maybe we didn't. Let's have fun with it. But listen, this is bad, guys. And anybody who knows anything about football knows there's a huge advantage here. I'm not saying that's why we lost the games. I'm saying because in 2021,
I'll say it contributed.
It's contributed to all your wins. Yeah, but like 2021, you might have won that game anyway.
That's true.
You could won. Kerry Combs is not going to stop something you're doing. If you find something that works, he was just never.
I'll be honest with you, it might not even been that. They might have seen the signs and go, "Yeah, we don't need that," because it was.
Yeah, they might have. He runs one. Yeah, 2022. Yeah, it's pretty weird. But anyways, say you would have won, but it's still decidedly wrong. You actually have hurt your own players and program because now they don't know, like, was this us? Were we good? Like, if I'm J.J. McCarthy, I'm mad about this because now everything I accomplished is called into question. And it should be, but he's just doing what he's told. Like, there's levels to it. I almost feel bad. You know what I did want to shout out, Corey? It's funny. Buckeye Scoop is tweeting this picture that's in this video the one that I was supposed to have and giving Zach Smith credit. I don't care about that. That's fine. Buckeye Scoop actually has me blocked on Twitter. So it's just ironic that they're like, oh, this is a huge bombshell. And I don't know what they blocked me for, probably for calling them out and saying Brandon Moses.
I think B. Moses got you blocked. They told him all about you.
Yeah. Well, no, I actually tweeted that Brandon was the only – I tweeted once that Brandon was like the only good thing about Buckeye Scoop. That probably was what got me blocked. But anyways,
I'm not honored enough to be blocked by them yet. So
you'll get maybe after this video they'll do.
Well, it's my second X or Twitter account. My first one might have been blocked. I don't know.
It might have been blocked, but I think mine came about recently. Who knows? But listen, Buckeye Scoop's got a bigger following than I ever will. Believe me, if you want to follow those guys, go ahead. They're the ones that told you that Devin Brown would finish the season as the starter.
And the Heisman winner.
We're the ones that told you the truth. Anyways, Michigan cheated. Comment what you think the punishment will be. Look, if at this point with all this evidence, and I know there's things we don't know, and I know that some of it might have been conflated and misconstrued. Corey, if I'm in a courtroom and I'm a jury member,
back to court? Okay.
I'm like, I don't think we even need to go and deliberate, do we? Like,
we can just we're all just sitting in the jury's box, like, yeah, guys, we got.
I mean, he's standing there with the knife and the bloody glove on the witness stand, like
Yeah, but if the glove don't fit,
yeah. Well, Johnny Cochran's the only person that can save Jim Harbaugh at this point, and for some reason, I am told. What's that?
I wish you were right. I bet nothing happens. I'm just that's where we are.
I was there yesterday, but I'm starting to come around. Like, at minimal, Jim's going to get life in prison.
But
firing squad.
But that is for the Nicole murder, not the actual.
Yeah, Johnny can come back from the dead and write a lot of books.
But anyways, come out and say we finally got him.
Yeah. So Corey, I guess some parting thoughts. Like, now all this has come together. Are you like more convinced now than ever before? Like that this absolutely happened?
Yeah, I know. I'm not even like. It doesn't even like faze me to anybody say it didn't happen. It's like, yeah, of course it happened. There's a million pounds of evidence. You don't like it? Tough. I don't know what to tell you. Maybe you know what. And the thing is, like, go back to Steve Deese. Look, I get it. Michigan had been mediocre to solid for a long time, couldn't beat Ohio State. I get it. And you're like, the last 2 years are euphoric. Like, how in the world we became this juggernaut? You don't want to lose that.
You don't.
Get it. I totally understand. But, and this is not to say you're not a good football team. This is not to say you're not a great program. I'm actually taking off my Buckeye cap for a second and say, look, Michigan's a blue blood. They're a great program. Jim Harbaugh is a very good coach. They have good assistants. I actually believe that. But don't tell me this didn't happen and it didn't give you an advantage. Stop that.
They had good assistants. They had a guy on staff.
I mean, they're all rogue assistants that do their own thing, and Jim knows nothing of it, but still, they're good assistants.
He hires people. He hires, what's his name, from Josh Gaddis. Oh, by the way, isn't it odd that Josh Gaddis wins an award for his offense at Michigan, and then it's well known that he can't coordinate?
Oh, he's horrible.
Crap.
I'll give Zach Smith credit on that one. He called that one from day one. So
I actually gave Zach that info too. No, I'm just kidding.
Actually, I gave you that info, and then you leaked it to Zach.
That Gaddis was terrible. Hey, Zach, I'm going to break this film down, and then you can use it as your own. No.
Because we don't want to grow our podcast.
Yeah, that's what it is. Gaddis, you have that as well, and then you have he's fired. He's hired apparently after a 20-minute phone call. Weiss is hired. I don't know why.
That's another story. We didn't even get into that Weiss stuff.
Yeah. And Valenti, I'll give him credit. You don't get to be right about everything, is the way he said it. You think the cheeseburger's nothing. The COVID the COVID violation, lying about it's nothing. You think the computer incident's nothing. You think
can I say something real quick,
nothing.
Johnny?
You think everything's nothing?
Okay. I want to say this. Let me ask you something. If you're recruiting kids during COVID and then crying about it when somebody calls it for a violation, why are you still defending the fact that Michigan dodged a game in 2020 due to COVID? Does that make sense?
So if you you're saying COVID, big whoop, I can still go recruit, but yet when it gets you out of a game getting your tail kicked, you're like, no, COVID. That is
COVID.
A good point.
Can't do it. Nope, sorry, COVID, not my fault. I wanted to play.
Yeah, and then it's just stupid COVID rules about a cheeseburger. Yeah, well, I mean, he'd have got suspended.
Don't share cheeseburgers. It's, spreads COVID.
That's why it's easy. Because he bit the cheeseburger during COVID and then shared it with the kid, and that's terrible.
Didn't have a mask on a cheeseburger.
No. So,
cheeseburger wasn't bad.
At this point,
just having too much fun today.
At this point, I don't even think any of this is hyperbole. You're dead to rights. You're in the crosshairs. The only thing you have, and listen, you can attest to it, Corey. When this stuff first started coming out, I was just like, I don't know, guys. Don't just see through Buckeye lenses. Let's see. I don't know if anything's going to happen. I don't know. It's pretty overwhelming right now.
Despite what you see on Johnny on the podcast, who is, you never know with him. You're like the Joker. I love it, and you're my brother, and I love you to death, dude. But I'll tell you, there's even times in our private life where Johnny will give me news. I'm like, I don't know if he's kidding or not. But that being said, Johnny is objective. And he does not look at things through rose-colored glasses, Buckeye related. I will give you that credit. Even in real life, you are like that. Even though half the time I can't tell if you're serious or not.
No, yeah, sometimes, yeah. No, I am. And real quick, Corey, I do have a little bit of a bone to pick with Jay Stevens. He came on and he was like, I'm going to apologize to CJ Stroud because I thought he's not much, very super competitive. But now this came out and I want to apologize. I was wrong. I'm like, no, you still saw the demeanor from him that you saw. He just was probably going against a team that had an unfair advantage. So I'm like, if you had criticisms, CJ's great. He had his flaws, but he's great. He still didn't go out and take the game from Michigan. But he wasn't bad. He wasn't the reason we lost either game by any means. Now, I think University of Michigan owes him an apology because they may have tainted his legacy. Although, because of the Big Ten championships, he likely
doesn't matter. He has to go out and execute. Doesn't matter if they knew every play he was running.
But this is who I think is owed an apology, dude. Is Ryan Day. I mean, we're calling for him on the hot seat. the guy very well could
only makes $10 million a year.
He could have one or two losses to Michigan that may not have been. I mean, we don't know that for a fact.
21,
I'm 21 again. Yeah. I'll give you 21, but 22.
We knew they were running up the middle, and we didn't even have to steal signals. Like they're running up the middle, and Matt Barnes.
And in 22, like, come on, he wasn't going to lose by 30 on a fair and square game. Like, come on. And I think so. And Corey, you did a podcast right after that game. It got like 30,000 views, and you said Ryan Day ain't it.
I did.
And I think you need to look in the camera right now, and you need to apologize to Ryan Day and his wife, and if he has any kids. And
you don't know that Ryan Day has kids? He has a kid in high school playing quarterback right now, dude.
Well, apologize to him then. You know him so well. You ever hear trying to make sure he's homeless, and then he's a victim of one of the biggest scandals.
He's gonna be homeless.
I mean,
you know, I will say it right now. Okay, look, I'm looking at the camera. I'm looking at you.
Corey ain't got time for broke people.
Ain't got time for homeless people. Anyway, Ryan Day, Coach Ryan Day. I actually did apologize even before all this knowledge came out, but I will apologize again because you are on a young ascending career. You are one of the best offensive minds in college football. You do everything you can to fix the defense. I give you all the credit in the world for that. You went out and got a great defensive mind. Our defense right now is carrying the team, arguably. And Ryan Day's okay with winning that way. And that maturity from a guy who's an offensive mind to win that way takes a lot. It takes a lot of maturity. Ryan Day, Floco here at Scarlet and Gray, I apologize that I said that. And I mean that sincerely.
No, look, I know you love the guy and you're defending. I more mean that to everybody else and even myself that we owe him an apology because we had this perception. Like
I'm okay with saying it, though.
Buddy.
On behalf of all of Buckeye Nation, I'll do it right now.
Well, I think you were there. You were there
Jesus
even
Christ for Buckeye Nation. On this
you're taking the fall.
Yeah.
No, what I'm saying is even before this, you were kind of giving a more holistic of how you viewed
it.
Day
Took me a week to get unemotional from that game.
Yeah. I understand.
It was actually kind of. I mean, it was good that we did it because we got the hits, but we recorded right after that game, and I was ticked off. You know.
Listen, dude. I'm not mad about it. You since clarified your position. What I'm saying is collectively as a whole. How differently do we look at Ryan Day if he got to play those games straight up?
Yeah.
And again, how differently do we look at C.J. Stroud, et cetera, et cetera? That is a huge talking point. And again, it's not fair to the Michigan players because if you're out there saying, well, they'd have won anyway, well, guess what? You stole it from them by cheating. You stole, you put the asterisk there, not me. Michigan fans, I'm your friend. I'm telling you the truth. Not Jim Harbaugh. He's tainting everything about the program you love. There's been how many issues in the last year?
But he didn't know, Johnny.
And like Valenti says, Harbaugh doesn't care about you. Harbaugh doesn't love you guys. He didn't know you exist. But Johnny Bullitt here is your friend. I am here to tell you, I've been telling you for years Harbaugh was going to tank your program. I didn't know how. And you guys were ready to die for the man. You need me to put the sheet up again? You need me to put the sheet up again? I will. I won't. I'm not going to do it. Corey, parting words.
Look, Harbaugh tried to leave you guys for the Vikings, and you're defending him to the death over something that is extremely avoidable. Tell Harbaugh to actually follow within the rules that Bob Stoops, Matt Rule, James Franklin all talk about in the recent podcast. Greg Schiano hinted at in his interview. Follow within those rules and beat teams on the field and do it like everybody else is doing it. Don't tell me everybody else is doing it. Don't tell me you need evidence to see that Jim Harbaugh is doing it, but then claim everybody else is doing it without evidence. That doesn't make any sense. Just tell Jim Harbaugh to be the coach you believe he is and go beat people on the field. He can. I believe he can too, by the way. I'm your friend. I'm saying you can. You don't have to do this extra and then get your program tainted.
You couldn't beat Ohio State straight up, but you can beat the rest of them straight up.
Exactly. You can beat Rutgers without going to triple overtime. You can do that. I believe in you guys, really. But that being said, look, this has got me ticked off. But and for anybody and one last thing, for anybody who claims, Ohio State wants to cancel the game, that is bull crap. We want you November 25th like we want you every November. When we were 0-4 against Clemson, what was I saying, Johnny? Let's play them again.
You were saying, like, play them again tomorrow. And I'm like, I don't know about that. And Corey's like, no, let's keep running it back till we win.
That's kind of how I was, yes. And I don't give a crap. They beat us last 2 times, tainted as it is now. Let's go do it again in Ann Arbor. And Kyle McCord have a terrible game until the 4th quarter and then beat them and then rip their heart out in the last second.
I love it. I love it. Jim Harbaugh, tanking your program one scandal at a time. And remember, he was trying to build a program the right way. As always, goodbye. God bless. And go Bucks.